Because when it comes right down to it in relationships, emotions are where it's at. How you attach to someone emotionally, how you attach emotionally to yourself, and your own self-care and self-needs too.
Did you push record?
Thanks again for joining us on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Hey, Silka.
Hi, Paige. Paige, today let's talk about relationships again. And one thing that came up recently that got my attention, either in a comment or a question, was emotions and attachment. And I did some research on attachment theory, which is all over the internet, of course. That meaning how we were raised, how we were brought up, and our relationship with our parents or caregivers gave us a certain way of attaching in our relationships as adults. And they describe, the secure, avoidant, describe various attachment styles. And I thought that's very interesting because it can really, if you have that awareness about yourself or who you're with or who you're starting a relationship with, that might really shed some insight into issues you have or may potentially have. And I know you have a whole other take on attachment theory when we started talking about this off camera. So talk to me about that. And why is this so important?
Because it's the foundation of the world. How we attach to each other, how we attach to issues. We could go on and on. So again, when we talked off camera, there's a fabulous book, and I'm going to show it to you right now because we're going to pull some things from it. And it's called Hold Me Tight. And it's a great book. I give it to my clients, my couples, singular. I've used it. My husband and I have used it. And it's a really different way of looking at attachment theory, which this is more of how I kind of look at it. And it's coming from the heart center. What's your emotional attachment? Because when it comes right down to it, if you, like you brought up, if you are avoidant, well, really, what's the emotion about being avoidant? Fearful, anxious. Something has happened somewhere in the past, right? So we thought we'd just do a quick kind of brief summation on a topic that's gigantic that we're just going to do a small thing on for you. So some of the three things that Silke and I talked about that I wanted to bring up are, accessibility with your partner, responsiveness from your partner, and are you and your partner positively emotionally engaged with each other? So we thought we'd kind of start there. So I'm just going to read just a few questions that people can kind of go, oh, that's me, or oh, we do that great, or oh crap, that's an area. So the first area is, let's talk about accessibility. Okay, so this is from your viewpoints. When I ask the question, kind of think in your mind, from my viewpoint, is my partner accessible to me? So just a few questions is, can I get my partner's attention easily? Does my partner show me that I come first with them? Can I share my deepest feelings with my partner? And will they listen? Big thing. So that's just a few things to think about. That's just a snippet about accessibility. So let's jump into responsiveness. So again, from your viewpoint, is your partner responsive to you? Meaning, if I need a connection, if I need comfort, will they be there for me? Does my partner respond to signals that I need them to come close? Are they completely like avoidant and not paying attention, not being present? Even when we fight or we disagree, can we come back together again and find a way to still connect? That's huge. So, and the last one is, are you both positively, emotionally engaged with each other? So, and a few would be, I feel very comfortable being close to my partner and I trust my partner. I feel confident even when we're apart that we are connected. Whether you're physically apart or emotionally apart from an issue, I know that my partner cares about me, about my joys, my hurts, my failures, my fears. And then I feel safe enough to take emotional risks with my partner. And from what I do for a living, that's the biggest component I see all the time is if I start to be vulnerable and open up my Pandora's box and I take an emotional risk, if they shut that down, what does that trigger in me? Oh, that triggers my attachment theory of what you said earlier, Silka, of I'm just going to be avoidant, or I'm not going to go there, or they can't possibly be there. So this is a big, broad topic, but we thought we'd bring you at least 3 areas to kind of take a look at and kind of answer that for yourself.
Yeah. What interesting, what came up for me when you were describing that is, we talk a lot about self-responsibility. And the questions were, does my partner, but what do we bring to the table? Isn't that something, or shouldn't there be questions as well about how am I, because if I'm secure, that's great. But if I'm anxious or avoidant, my partner may be available and I'm misinterpreting it.
So these questions are for both people to look at.
Okay.
So absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, we always have to own our stuff. And like what we've said before, we've heard the word ownership. And a lot of times I've used the word ownership just because, own your shit. So exactly. So that was a great point that you bring up. But it's something that you can do with your partner. Hey, I heard this clip today on Second Act, and I was thinking about this, and I think we should get this book because there's exercises in this book. There's real clarity, and there's really a good part of explaining what is attachment theory. Because what I have found more than not is in couples, men's brain like a little bit more of the factual component. That doesn't mean women don't, but it just means their brain wants to know, where's this from? What's this connect to? Here we go, connecting again, attaching. So this book is really good in the beginning without weighing you down as to where it comes from, why it's important, and here's how it connects. And here's some activities that you guys can do together and start to learn about what is your attachment style, especially your emotional attachment style. Because when it comes right down to it in relationships, emotions are where it's at. How you attach to someone emotionally, how you attach emotionally to yourself. Your own self-care and self-needs too.
Right. And while this sounds very, theoretical on some level, there's a very practical, in my opinion, very practical side to this, because having that awareness about yourself and your partner, and you don't have to be, both people don't have to be secure, both people can be anxious, both people can be avoidant, but if you have that understanding, you can work with that. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you said anxiety and fear, those are huge things that come up in relationships. And many times you don't have 2 people who have the same kind of attachment, because that just really is found. It's always one, one's more fearful and anxious and really needs support from the other. And the other one's very avoidant and doesn't want to feel those emotions and kind of pushes away. Yeah. So yeah, it's a big thing, and anxiety and fear are huge. So if you have a lot of anxiousness and your partner doesn't want to deal with it, that cuts things right down the middle. That fractures the relationship right there.
Yeah. No. Yeah, there was, like I said, there's a lot of interesting stuff out there. I'm going to link to a couple articles. One even discussed, how to recognize on a first date, in an early interaction with somebody, what their potential attachment style or what their attachment style might be, and the consideration. So I thought it was really interesting. Paige, we're coming to the end. Is there anything else that we can add here?
Well, we can always keep adding something. This is a huge topic, but I think we gave some questions to think about, some resources, and just know, attachment is everywhere. How you attach to colleagues, to friends, to family, to intimate partners, to animals. Believe it or not, that's a whole other component as well. So yeah, take some time to figure out where you are with your attachment and where you are emotionally attaching to yourself and with others.
Yeah. Well, it's another great topic of how our early childhood experiences, how that is so critical, how we carry everything through life. So, go ahead and check out our resources. If you have any questions, comments, please let us know. And if there's anything that you'd like us to cover, on this or other relationship topics, let us know. And Paige, we'll see you next time on our second act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Bye.
you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right over here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too. We'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.